Good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in again today to South Florida Sunday with me, Marian Dozier of tysmedia.net, and as you know, cocowire.net. Today, we're going to talk about something that's very interesting in our communities. In 2017, the most recent year with recorded data, 47% of children born in the state of Florida were born to unwed mothers, also known as children born out of wedlock, also known as children born to single mothers. When you consider Palm Beach County alone, that rate in 2017 was a bit lower. 44% of children born in our 39 municipalities were born to single mothers. But when we consider the race and ethnicity of the mother, the numbers rise higher. In Palm Beach County alone, for instance, nearly 60% of unwed mothers who had babies in 2017 were Black. Those numbers are not small, ladies and gentlemen, nor are they unusual. We all know women who've had babies without the man being in the house. He was in the bed, but he was not in the house. That's our guest you hear in the background. We're laughing, but it's not funny.
Yes, that's serious.
Because, you know, I can relate. My daughter was born in 1997, and I knew even before she was born that that man was not going to be with me. So I, too, was and am a single mother. And so is our guest today, Marianne Bartley. Ms. Bartley is a certified life coach and parent mentor and the founder of In His Glory Women's Outreach, which mentors and supports single mothers. Ms. Bartley became a mother herself at the age of 19 and since then has had 3 beautiful children in total by herself. Though she was always well employed, it was still rough. She had to pay the bills, all the bills. She had to pick up the kids. She had to ensure their safety, all on her own, all on our own. So Ms. Bartley launched For His Glory Women's Outreach in 2017. The Riviera Beach-based nonprofit provides income-based vouchers for its clients who need financial assistance with child care, utilities, car payments, rent, whatever. It also partners with local agencies that provide help with employment, computer training, resume building, and GED coursework. They also provide spiritual support. On April 27th, For His Glory Women's Outreach will launch its first fundraiser, Back to Eden, a fashion extravaganza that will highlight local fashion designers. It'll have live music. It'll have a silent auction. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, it will celebrate single mothers.
Yes.
The event is seeking models and vendors. Ms. Marianne Bartley, thank you so much for joining us today on South Florida Sunday. Yay! And you know, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, her spirit is just so positive. I met her a few weeks ago, and she is just, I just love what she's doing.
Thank you.
And one thing I've always wanted to ask you since I met you, you know, what was going on with you in your life just before 2017 when you launched For His Glory? Y'all should have seen her eyes. They got big.
It was like before I launched this ministry. I mean, well, this.
It's interesting you said ministry, though. I'm going to ask you about that, Miss Lady. Go ahead.
Before I launched it, I was going through so much tough times as a single mother. I would be living from paycheck to paycheck. And if it wasn't
I can relate.
paycheck to paycheck, it was overdraft to overdraft. Those were like my only 2 options. I had 3 children. At the time, my children were at the ages of 10, 8, and then I had my 1-year-old.
Oh, wow.
And things were just so hard. You know, daycare is over $400 or $500. Then I had to pay for aftercare for 2 children because my kids, my oldest 2, are 12 months apart, 13 months apart.
Wow.
So they're back to back. I have a 16 and a 17-year-old now. At that time, they were 9 and 10.
Yeah.
So you have to pay aftercare, and aftercare is $300 so $600 for 2. Then I have to pay the daycare for the baby, which was another $300-$400. Then you have car insurance. Then you have your rent. Then you have your phone. Then you have all the other bills, the car insurance, everything that piles. And yes, I was making probably $20, $23, $24 an hour.
Yep.
But
it wasn't enough.
It's never enough. It looks good on paper. You go to the government and you say, hey, I'm having a hard time. I'm struggling. My rent is $1,300. My kids' overall cost of being in school is over $1,500 a month. I have my light bill. I have groceries to buy.
Gas,
can I get
insurance,
some help? Everything.
Yeah.
And I asked for help, and the answer I was given is, you make too much money.
From the government? Wow.
Everywhere I went to child support. I filed for child support a couple of times in 2011. And each time when I was going through this, I figured, okay, their dad will pay the child support. They kept losing my paperwork. So I went 2 years without even having child support.
Wow. Even though your baby daddy was willing to pay it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just couldn't get the paperwork right. I kept going to the office trying to get everything together. Finally, after 7-8 months, I talked to the executives, and they got the paperwork right, and I started getting the child support. And that also helped me to push myself up. I started getting better jobs and getting myself together. And of course, my parents were very vital with helping me. My sisters, they helped me so much. And it just, through prayer and through different things in life, I was able to be lifted up and be at a better place in my life. And then I went on ahead and purchased my first home.
Oh,
yeah.
As a single mother?
Yes, as
Good
a single mother, I purchased my
hard
own
worker.
Home. Yes,
hard worker.
It was such a dream. The way it happened was just a miracle, and I was just so proud of it. But I was able to purchase my first home. I was able to buy a brand new car in my own name.
Wow.
Which I have never been able. I wasn't even able to buy a used car in my own name, much less a brand new car. And then recently I launched my own business where I do a beauty spa. I'm an esthetician now.
Oh.
Yes. And then I founded, before all of that in 2017, of course, I founded For His Glory Women's Outreach. Basically what I want to do and what I have been trying to do is to pull every mother out of a hard and negative situation. I had the help at times where I was pushed out of my situations, but there are so many mothers who are suffering in silence.
Yep.
And they don't have anybody to turn to. They don't know who to turn to. They work good jobs, but they still don't have enough to put everything on the table because every time they try to get help, they're told they make too much money.
And then from your experience, what did you feel like you needed to provide to them?
I needed to provide, they need emotional support, first of all.
Yep.
They need someone to know that they've been there before and it does get better. They also need financial support. Come on, I can talk to them all day, but if I'm talking to them and they're hungry and they're homeless, it's not going to help them.
Okay, they're not hearing you.
they can't hear me.
Yeah.
And what it also does is it breaks down to the children. If the mother is stressed out, how can the children thrive?
It's really true.
So it's just, if you could incorporate having the mother healthy, mind, body, and soul, then you have children who are healthy.
And so why did you name it For His Glory?
Well, For His Glory, that came out, I was at work, and I was just trying to think of all these things that I wanted to do. And I asked myself, why did I want to do it? I asked myself, why did I want to do it? And I have a very strong relationship with Jesus Christ. And
God bless you.
I was sitting there, and I was putting all these things together, and I said, you know what? The only reason why I want to do this is for His glory.
And there it was. And you were like,
it.
ding.
That's it.
That's it. Wow. So how important is faith and spirituality to the work that you do?
It's what keeps me going. So it's my backbone of everything that I do. It's so important. It's why I do everything I do. I don't know how to function without that relationship. It's just, it allows me to even come as far as I've come.
As you've come.
As I told you, when I purchased my house, that was literally
that was
done
God.
through prayer.
Yeah.
I purchased my house with a negative bank account.
Wow.
And God sent me that money.
Just for you.
There's just so many things that has happened in my life. I've woken up, went to bed with a negative bank account and woken up with money in my account. And it's just because I know I prayed that night and I woke up to the answer the morning. And I know people would say, oh, that doesn't sound real. It has happened to me. It's happening to me even as we speak.
Yep.
I'm still going through the miracles that He does for me. So,
well, and as our listeners are the ones who, tune in, fairly often, they know that, I wasn't really raised in the church, and there's a lot, I don't have that strong relationship. Mm-hmm. But as I've gotten older, Miss Marianne, I'm beginning to see the real importance of having a relationship with your God.
Oh my God.
Even if you don't go to church every Sunday, but you've got to pray, you've got to say thank you, you've got to say, I appreciate your help and your support.
Even the church on Sunday, You could go to church every Sunday and don't have a relationship with him. It has
that's
nothing
right.
to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. It's the way you talk to him, the way he ministers to you. It's a personal thing. It has nothing to do with anybody else in the room. It has nothing to do with a pastor. It has nothing to do with a preacher. It has nothing to do with even a prophet who speaks to you.
Okay.
It's your personal relationship
It's
with him.
you and as I like to say, Mother, Father, God.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I just really believe that there is no way that this, as wonderful as this world is, that just a man could have done it.
No.
You know it had to be a woman standing there beside him.
The Holy Spirit,
Okay.
yes.
Yes. So, okay.
Yes.
So how does a single mother get help from you? Are there eligibility requirements or
There is an eligibility requirement. So what I like to do is everything is going to be a case by case situation.
Yeah, of course.
But I do want to look at I don't want to send people away because the paperwork says you make a lot of money.
Right.
So
because
that's what was happening
to you. Yeah.
So I was thinking from 17,000 up to 45,000 is the bracket that I want to help. Because when I did get over the 45,000 bracket, things got easier, and I didn't need help from any government agency. So I know the income limits where you need that help because I've been in every income limit under that. So when I stepped over 45,000. That's when I was able to really help my kids without even child support.
Wow.
I didn't even need it.
Yeah.
So I know that between 17,000 and 45,000, you need help. 45,000 does look good on paper, but by the time you minus all those bills, depending on even how many children you have mothers that are even making 45,000, but they have 6 children. How can they survive?
45,000 with one child
Exactly
is a lot.
So we will go through that process. We'll look at your income, and then we're also going to look at the situation you're in. Is your lights turned off? Are you homeless? Is your car about to be repoed?
Right.
Is your car insurance canceled? And we go through them by priority, and we say, okay, well, if you don't have your car, you can't go to work. So we'll help you with the car note first.
Okay, right.
And everything has to be case by case. We will meet with them personally. It's not going to be a cookie cutter help. It's not going to be something that, okay, goes for everybody across the board. It doesn't work like that because even my situation was different at different times.
Yeah. And so how many single mothers would you say you've helped since 2017?
Since 2017, I haven't had the funding that I would want to help, but mothers that I've helped out of my pocket, I've helped about 4 mothers out of my own.
Wow. Wow. God, that you just felt.
That I just felt led to. Because right now I don't have any funding.
Yeah.
So what I do is I tithe to this foundation.
Okay.
So what I do is I take 10% or 20% of my check every week and I put it into this foundation. And then after it builds up to a certain amount, that's when I can distribute and start to help. And then I just keep starting back over again. So that's how I've been doing it.
And then I guess, too, it's not just about the money. It's also about the conversations and not the suggestions, I guess, that you can make. That's not the word I was looking for, but,
advice.
Advice.
And that's what it is. Most of the time, they just need someone to talk to and to help them think out their thoughts.
Yeah.
And that is when it comes to not being monetary and just purely advice, I've helped at least 20.
Okay. Now, tell us about the big event coming up on the 27th.
I'm so excited about that event. It's going to be my first run. Like, even the way that this event came about is like so mind-blowing. I didn't even think that I was going to be able to do something like this or even pull something like this off.
Yeah.
And the way it came about, a lady said to me in California in 2015, "Oh, you're going to be running a fashion show." And I said, "I don't even like fashion like that. I mean, I like clothes,
right,
I like
but not to
pretty
be
stuff,
all
but not to
involved
the
in
point
the
where
business
I was doing
of it.
a fashion show."
Right.
And she said it to me. It was a church conference I was at in
California.
Yeah, for Jennifer Ivers. And then I came back home. I kind of forgot about it, and I was just going about my day. And then I was really putting in the work, like trying to plan for His glory, how to launch for His glory, and how to just kind of get my name out there.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, what could I do? And I couldn't think of nothing. And then that same lady, around 3 weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, was in my inbox, and she said, "Did you do your fashion show yet?"
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh,
that was
what?
Mother, Father, God."
Exactly.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? The way I'm going to launch this, I'm going to do a fashion show. So I thought of this in 2017, and it's just now being birthed now.
Wow.
In 2019.
And so, why did you come up with the name Back to Eden?
So my sister, she loves gardens.
Yeah.
My sister, she loves gardens. So she said to me, because we were planning it.
Yeah.
My older sister Belinda, she said to me, "Oh, I think we should do like a garden theme and just make it be like the royal garden, like because you want people to feel like they're in paradise, like how Eve and Adam felt when they were first put on the earth or put into the garden. So why don't we give them that paradise feeling?" I was like, that sounds awesome. I said, so I don't know what to call it. And she was like, well, we could call it Eden of Garden or Garden of Eden. And I was like, I think I like Back to Eden.
Oh.
And then, because we all want to get back to paradise one day. So I was like, yeah, let's go back to Eden, back to paradise.
Okay, back to paradise.
Yes.
And everybody's light bulbs went off in their heads.
And like,
oh.
Then and right there is when the planning started.
All right. And so, y'all, so it's going to be a fashion show.
Yes.
And I think you told me there's going to be 3 designers.
Yes.
That
There's
are they?
Well, we have 2 designers now. I'm still working with another one to see how we could get the clothes out here. We had some ties with Indian River Fashion Institute. They were going to send some clothes with some students, so we're still working with them on that.
I've never even heard of that. Indian River Fashion Institute?
Yeah, it's the Indian River College. It's in Port St. Lucie.
Yeah.
We've been in contact with them to get some clothes from them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, I want to set the stage for you. So we're going to turn that rooftop into a garden.
And I forgot to say that, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be at the rooftop in Riviera, at the Riviera Beach Marina.
Yes.
Those of you who are familiar. Okay.
Yes.
Not on the first floor.
No.
Rooftop.
It's going to be on the roof. The
Yes.
ambiance is going to be beautiful.
Yeah, that's a nice space up there.
There is going to be tons of trees up there. It's going to be flowers up there. There's going to be gold everywhere.
Wow.
It's going to be a royal garden. I mean, when you think about that, I want you guys to come dressed to impress.
Okay.
Like, your best ball gown, your best hairstyle, your best heels. I can't really wear heels no more, so I'll be in my best flats.
Me too. Wow. Okay.
So we're gonna have like a entertainment. So it's going to start with cocktail hour, networking, and then nice entertainment. We have some singers, we have some dancers.
Oh, live music, yeah,
It's going to be
wonderful.
a live band. They play reggae, they play jazz, they play reggaeton. It's a very universal band. They're going to be starting off the
What's the name of the band?
That is
In case I want to hire
my,
them.
My drill.
Vibration what?
Metallic Vibrations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me make sure I got that name right so that...
But I like that. I like the idea of, playing all of the music from our our
from
collective culture.
Melodic vibrations.
Melodic vibrations.
Yes,
Love it.
yes.
Okay. So they're going to be playing live. You're going to have the silent auction. You're going to have, what else?
We're going to be having dancers. My good friend, Mr. Will, he is over a nonprofit called Digital Vibes.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he's going to be bringing his dance crew. He's going to be the DJ for the night.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and it's going to be, so I have one of my good friends, she sings amazingly. She's going to be singing some solos. I have another friend who just wrote a book. She's going to be doing some spoken word.
Oh, wonderful.
It's a mixture of everything.
Entertainment for real.
Yes.
And these are designers who are, they've done the clothes?
Yes, the clothes are already done. One designer actually lives in Miami. He already has his fashion line going. His name is Letron.
Okay.
And I could give you his information.
Sure.
He does wonderful work.
Wow.
He is and everything's going to be garden themed. So it's going to be all gardeny, earthy, nice colors, but it's still going to have that nice glam.
So now,
it.
if you're still looking for models, how are y'all going to be able to fit their clothes to?
Yeah, so 2 weeks before the show, we're gonna fit everybody.
Okay.
He's gonna bring his clothes up.
Oh,
and
then
sure everybody's fitted
yeah, and they
the
probably
clothes.
he's probably used to doing that.
Oh yeah, he does tons of fashion shows.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be fitting everybody about 2 to 3 weeks before the show. Hopefully nobody gains any weight. Everybody stays the same size.
Don't start talking about weight.
I know, right?
But okay, so do you want the models to be a certain size or
come as you are? We'll fit you.
Yeah,
we'll find something to put on you.
Do you want like young, fine ladies or
We
anybody?
just want women. We just want women.
Women. Okay.
But men. We also, because he has some his and hers outfits, so we do want a couple of men to wear the suits.
And see, I was going to ask you that. Are there going to be any men here? Period.
Yes.
Or is it just going to be all of us single mothers?
We love our men. We want the men there.
Yes, we know we love our men.
We want the men there.
Yes,
there will
good.
be clothes for them to see as well.
Oh, okay.
The gentleman, he makes wonderful suits. And the other
Wow.
the other designers from the college, they make beautiful suits. So
Really?
yeah, so we'll be showcasing some suits and from men wear as well.
Maybe we should talk to them too.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
So, all right. So now, how much are the tickets?
The tickets are $35 right now. It's early bird special.
That's right. I think I did.
Yeah,
see
it
that.
goes on to April 15th.
Okay.
And then after that, it goes to the regular price of $45.
And that's the day of the show price too. $45. You pay.
Well,
at
the
door.
day of the show is going to be $50 at the door.
50. Okay.
Yeah, 50 at the door.
But then everything is included for that.
And everything is included for them.
Okay. And then you're looking for vendors.
Yes, I'm looking for vendors. So far, I have about 5.
Okay.
So I need about 9 more.
So, and then any particular type, do you want them to be selling merchandise or promoting their businesses or whatever?
Both. They can bring their merchandise and sell. I'm not taking any of their profit. I don't want any profit of the merchandise they sell. The vendor fee is $40 down payment.
Okay.
And then $40 at the show. So the total is $80.
$80. Okay.
And
cool.
I provide the tablecloth, and the chairs.
Okay. Perfect. So that sounds very cool. And now before we leave, ladies and gentlemen, she will, of course, tell you how to get those tickets. But now what I really want to ask you about is, where's your baby daddy?
He's in New York making other babies.
But we still love him.
Yes, we do.
He's a nice guy.
He is, and he does talk to his kids. He still financially provides for all 3 of them because they all belong to him. And he talks to them every day. He does the best he can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From New York. God bless him.
Yeah. He's from Jamaica, you know.
Well, and and I hear your act the first time I met you. So you are of Jamaican descent as well, but you were born in the States.
Yes.
But your parents are Jamaican.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I wanted to ask a question related to culture. Like if you've noticed, I don't know how. One thing, okay, let me just. Okay, so please nobody take this the wrong way, especially as African Americans. But do you see, from your experience of dealing with, single, mothers, do you see any difference between cultures within our cultures, the African diaspora? Do you see a difference in how, say Jamaican men behave with their women and their children versus how African American men behave with their children and their baby mamas?
There's a difference. Jamaican men, they normally feel like the children should belong with the mother. They don't argue with that. The children belong to the mother. They don't try to come and try to
take
separate
them
that
or
kind of relationship. Some of them are more willing. They probably won't spend much time, but they will try to financially be there.
But it's interesting you're saying these things because in my experience, and I I've been looking at this, especially since I moved back here to Florida, and there's so many different people. There's Native Africans here. There's Caribbeans, African Americans. And it seems to me that Caribbean men do much better than our men do in terms of, being there with your kids, and maybe if they're married, I don't know. But it just seems like they're more attached. I see them walking with their kids more, and
You see, the thing is, I've never experienced an American man. I don't know how.
So you don't know.
I don't know. I really don't know how they do.
And ladies and gentlemen, okay, I can say that I have experienced. I dated a Haitian man once. I dated a Jamaican man once. I didn't have kids. My husband. I can't believe I said husband. Where is that?
Where's that button? You're looking for that
Not
button?
my husband, but my baby daddy. Who is he's a nice guy and all, but he wasn't there, and I see that a lot, and I always wondered, is that because of the American brand of slavery? Like they did, it was their intent to separate us because that would give them the power, in our union, in our unions,
especially.
And but like with you guys, like with Jamaicans, y'all didn't play that. Y'all put them off that island and was like, you know what, get out of here, and what I'm saying.
No, I completely understand what you're saying.
And so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a different show, but I don't know. I just see that difference, and I just wondered if you saw that too.
In my life.
Yeah.
But I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do see that
not that we're trying to talk bad about black men or black. people,
but
but
the majority they have their ways, but they still try to be there in some kind of aspect. When it comes to a Caribbean man, they type of aspect they try to be there. They might not be there all the way, but they're there in some form.
I mean, like, yours paid child support.
Yeah, he's
I
always
had to
paid,
go to court, and I still didn't get it.
Oh wow, yeah.
But anyway,
no, he's always paid.
All right, don't get mad at me, anybody. I'm not talking bad about our men, because I mean, I love our all of our men of color. I was just kind of curious about that. So now, do you, in terms of what you offer the women, I wanted to ask you this before and didn't, but I know you provide financial support and some, mentoring, but what about like mental health services, or like if they have any problems with domestic violence, can you help with those things too, in terms of areas, connecting them maybe?
I did want, in the 5-year plan, I do want to get to those areas, but being that it's such a small agency right now, those kind of plans are so complicated, and they require so much more than what I can offer. So of course recommendations would be made, referrals would be made if I do see that these women need those type of services, but no, my agency won't be providing.
Not yet. Okay.
No.
Yeah, but you'll just hook them up with the resources that you have.
I will get them the resources that they have, and even if their children need resources, if I notice that the children are being neglected, an agency will be reached out to.
So has your work with your nonprofit here, has that changed at all how you deal with your kids?
Yes, it makes me.
In what sense?
It just makes me. It makes me ask them and try to find out in their heads if they realize how blessed they are. And it opens up their eyes to see how blessed that they are, and it makes me close as a mother to them, because it makes me realize how far we've come, and how the help that I needed before is not the help that I needed now. So it gives me those kind of feelings, that emotional feeling towards those women, to let them know that it's not. It'll get better.
Yeah.
And I try to put that in my kids. You'll never know where you'll be in life, so you never look down upon on anybody. You just try to love on people. So it made me love on my kids even more.
Wow.
It made me love on women even more. It just gave me more love.
But then it doesn't make you hate on the men. No.
Oh no. I can't hate on them. I love them so much.
I know, even though. But we're not mad about it. No, we're not mad. Yeah. And so when you say like before versus now, that you felt, tell me what you mean by that. Like,
well, before I wasn't always saved. I was an angry, mean person, and there was not much love in me. I was just angry. You said something to me, I go off, especially on a man. But that, I completely evolved away from that. Even my kids, they see a difference, because I used to, when I had my hardship, I was a hard mother.
Yeah.
It was hard to sit down and spend time with them, because I'm worrying about so much other stuff.
Yeah.
But as things became easier, being a mother became easier. And my kids started feeling the more joy of life, instead of, my kids were worried about my bills just as much as I was, because of the stress that I was going through.
They could see it.
No child should have to be bottled down with the stress of the rent and the light bill, but they're in it because they're in the house and the lights are off. So of course they're going to say, okay, what's going on?
What's going on, Mom?
And they're going to take it on. So once I started getting lifted up and out of that rut, I was able to be a better mother.
So what do you want to accomplish with this
That's
nonprofit?
What I want to accomplish. I want to accomplish mothers who are better, helping a mother be the best they can be. And that will bring about wonderful children who are happy and healthy. And that'll set off the economy, because once the family is healthy, the economy is healthy.
Yep. And once the kids are healthy, the family is healthy, then they talk to you more, you talk to them more.
Yeah. And then violence can cease, because then you won't have these angry kids walking around with a vendetta. Yeah. It trickles down to everybody.
And now, do you see any similarities between all of us single mothers? Do you see anything that, any kind of, one little unit that's in all of us, like, are we all stupid or something? And I don't, that's just a joke, but what I'm saying. I
don't think we're stupid. I just think that we get caught up in the moment with these men, and we believe that they're going to be this.
They're going to be there.
This knight in shining armor who's going to take care of us. I was with my kid's father for 13 years.
Wow.
And so I didn't think that there was
Before
gonna
the
be,
first child, or
no,
just
before the first child, we was together. On a whole, we was together for 13 years.
Yeah.
We were with I was with him 2 years before our first child.
I see.
So I never, when I was having my children with him, I never thought that we would ever be apart. That's not something that even crossed my mind until I realized that things just wasn't working out. So I think a lot of us go into relationship thinking that we're just going to always be together, and realize that when children come, it causes the most friction between two people.
Yeah, and and that's something I noticed too. That sometimes it's better not to have the kids, whether you stay with them or not.
Sometimes it's I don't know if we get married before we have the children. I don't know what the breakdown is when you have a child out of wedlock, but there's definitely a breakdown, and it affects nobody more but the child.
All right, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about done. We have enough time for Miss Marianne Bartley to tell us how y'all can get more information if you want to attend the big event on April 27th, or if you want to be a vendor, or if you want to get the discounted early tickets. Tell us how.
Go to cocoWire.net.
Yay! Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is my new BFF. Okay.
Yes.
But yes.
And then you could also purchase the tickets on Eventbrite.
Yeah.
All of the information is there about my organization. My organization's website address is www.fhdwopb.org.
And that stands for
For His Glory Women's Outreach.
For His Glory Women's Outreach.
And then the PB stands for Palm Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So that's FHGWOPB.org. Okay. And any email that they wanted to, send you?
They can email me at forhisglorywo@gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. Any telephone number?
561-335-8906.
Yes. But as she said, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't remember anything else, go to the homepage on cocowire.net, and you will see the logo for His Glory Women's Outreach on the homepage. And if you click on that, it'll take you where you need to go. And on that note, Miss Marianne Bartley, we're going to go from here. But thank you so much for coming on the show today.
I had so much fun.
Yeah, I love your personality.
You're the bomb, too.
Yay. So, you guys are going to have to come, because the two bomb ladies are going to be at the big event on April 27th.
Oh, yes.
In Riviera Beach at the marina.
6 to 10 p.m.
6 to 10 p.m. on the rooftop.
Oh, yes. It's going to be a wonderful event.
And thank you all so much for tuning in again. We will see you next Sunday. And I'm trying to book someone from the Minorities for Medical Marijuana organization. It's based, I think, in Orlando, because the governor just signed the first bill into law on Monday last week was legalizing the smoking of medical marijuana. Wow. So we're going to talk about that hopefully next week. So y'all tune in. But thank you for tuning in today. Marian Dozier of tysmedia.net and cocowire.net. Y'all have a happy Sunday. Thank you for tuning in.
That was fun.